I need nature all around me, and I'm like a super slow person in a lot of ways. Like I just function very slowly, and I like to move very slowly through the world, and I think that like um, I can't imagine doing that anywhere other than like a rural place where it just, yeah, there's just a lot of space and um, room to think and no one to tell you to move faster. I love to just like wander around abandoned houses and just like look at all the surfaces and like especially like old wallpaper in houses and um uh it's just like one of those things that it's another thing I just got like obsessed with that um I love doing. Um and my favorite house in New Sharon that I would go to, like I feel like I went like a couple times a week, but it was pretty much like it had been taken over by porcupines and in birds. So there was like these like swallow nests inside and porcupines. And the first few times I went there, I'd only hear the animals because they would like go upstairs and hide. And as I kept going, they they just like slowly got like used to me and would just like walk around the house while I was in there. And like, I mean, they'd be, obviously a little timid, but yeah, it was just like, it's just really, I love that house in particular was really cool because just all this like life happening in this abandoned house that was totally forgotten about. And I think that like me finding abandoned houses was also a thing that happened because there was a moment in time in central Maine where I was like so isolated, not doing super great. And like that was the one thing that would like sort of like wake me up and like get me out of it was like going on these like nighttime adventures. There's just like a weird thing that happens with time when you're in an abandoned place, especially like at night when like there's no other sounds happening and it just feels like you're just like it feels like you like exit real life or like normal time while you're in there. My friend's barn had a mummified cat that was under a bathtub, and we found that. And I think that was maybe like the first time that I like staged a photo because like we had found this cat, and it was also Christmas time, and we had like put the cat on top of the Christmas tree. Um, and like he had some like weird lights in the house, and we sort of like lit it in this weird way, and I photographed it, and maybe that was like the first art that I ever made. I guess I probably would have been like ninth grade, but I really don't know what actually set me on a trajectory of like wanting to make things all the time, other than just like not knowing what else to do. It just felt necessary to be making things. And also like nothing else I feel like given me had ever like put me in a mental state or like this meditative zone that I could just like get obsessed with something and like it felt really good. And I don't, yeah, it's like if it weren't for that, like who knows what it would have been. But it just seemed like the only option and still does in a way, even though I work like a normal working class job. And like it's still like, and don't really make money from art, it's still like a necessary thing for me to be able to like just get in a zone with something, um, and just like get obsessed with something. the beauty for a spider web for me is like the way the light catches it. And so I was just like, how can I like capture web and take it somewhere to put into a photograph or to like construct a whole like sculpture out of these webs. There's something that happens when you like have constructed this like scene or scenario that's so far from reality that like it's like a form of escape, where sometimes I'll see the photograph and it really is like this whole new thing, and like this person in it that I know so well is like just like a whole different character. And like it's cool when it like also convinces me in a way, which is I think sort of like the excitement of taking photographs. Yeah, it's sometimes like a miracle to me, because like I can get like super discouraged if like I've spent so long on something and it just looks bad, or like don't like it. Um, and then it feels like the end of the world, but then like I'll just get inspired by something like so hard, and then like just start that whole process over again. It's easy to feel like very hopeless in the moment, but then like art just keeps giving somehow. I feel like for a time, me going into the like exploring abandoned houses was just like I didn't want to make photographs anymore. I felt discouraged about the whole medium, and I was just like maybe even just like going into the houses just to like think almost, and just to like see something new and exciting, and to just like wake my mind up to be like, what do I want to like, I love these spaces so much. How can I like translate this like love and care for this space into like something else? It's not a photograph. Like, and I really would like, I mean, I was like thinking a lot at that point about what I wanted to make too, because like I wasn't photographing, and like, I was just like, what else? How else do I make art? Like, I have all this like energy, like creative energy, and it's like I don't know what to do with it. Um, and who knows if I got any answers from that. I mean, I definitely made a lot of work that wasn't photography, and I still am, but um, yeah, it was just sort of like me wanting to have new experiences. It's really easy to not want to make big changes in your life when you've been known as a certain thing for so long. And there's definitely a deep fear in like transitioning, like medically, but also like in a social sense for me. And with all of those changes, I think it also made me make work in a different way too. I still know I'll use cameras, but it's very much like a longer process now, where I'm like building something first, or like doing an experiment and then using a camera to maybe photograph it or something. I think it started from living in a rural place and just not feeling safe anymore, I guess. And like um and then because of not feeling safe to like be walking around with this camera, and just knowing that I was going to be perceived in a certain way and like stared at and probably had some like evil eyes on me, it's like I think because of that it made me discouraged about photography in general. And like I think I've always related photography to like, portraits and like people in landscape. um, and it sort of made me have to like reevaluate the whole way I like use a camera. Um, and for a while, that sort of translated into like me just not using a camera at all. Obviously, like being an artist, it's great to eventually have final products of something, or not products, but like final like things to show for your work. But like the reality is like I don't always, and but I'm always like super grateful just to like have that like ritual in the midst of like normal day-to-day life and like work and stuff. And um, I think that because I'm still making art after all the stuff that I've been through and all of the like periods of like feeling discouraged and like working job that has nothing to do with art, and like the fact that I'm still like so in love with like making things, um, I think there's a lot to be said about that, and just like how beautiful it is to be able to make art. And like um yeah, it's just a beautiful thing that's like very brings a lot of joy. And I think that like, yeah, if you can find that, then that is amazing. And it might not like give you like wealth and stuff, but it's, yeah, it's just like, it's a beautiful thing.